You're listening to Unmuted Love. Hi there, I'm C. Ushelman, and with 35 years as a marriage and family therapist and 25 years as a parent of 2 children I brought home from the foster care system, I want to welcome you here to Unmuted Love Podcast, the one place where nothing is off limits to say out loud about parenting children from difficult beginnings.
Stop for a minute, stop and breathe for a minute, long it over your head, try to listen instead, won't you? Think for a minute, who you wanna be for a minute, don't get over your head, you're like everyone else, aren't you?
Sometimes it's real sweet around here, and sometimes it ain't so pretty, because this is 100% Unmuted Love. So let's go.
You'll be just
Hey parents, welcome back to Unmuted Love. So happy you're here. Usually I take a deep breath with you, and I'm going to do that. And then we're going to do a loving kindness meditation in case you haven't done one of those in a while. And or if you don't know what it is, I want to teach it to you. So first, let's take a deep breath in together. Inhale. Hold it at the top. And now blow it out. Nice. Let's do it again. Inhale through your nose. Hold it at the top. Now blow it out. That feels good. So a loving kindness meditation is called a metta, and a metta really is a meditative way of loving yourself. So first things first, let me have you put your right hand across your heart as though you're pledging allegiance in the United States, and then put your left hand over your right hand, right on top of it, and then give yourself a little heart hug, right? And just hold it there for a second. And now I just want you to repeat after me in your mind, or write out loud. Go ahead, because no one's going to hear you if you're in the car alone or you're taking your walk with your podcast. This is a lovely time to actually say out loud some loving kindness for yourself because you deserve it. So repeat after me. May I be calm. May I notice my body releasing tension. May I be free of suffering. May I be patient with myself and others. May I see my preciousness. May I be loving. May I feel loved. Now let's take one of those deep breaths again. Deep breath in. And then blow it out your mouth. I don't know about you parents, but it feels good to me to slow it down. Last week we talked about regulation, your regulation being the key to your child's regulation, and regulation being the key to felt safety. So I'm going to spend a little more time on, the healing art of showing up for your kids in a felt safety kind of way. What if there were just one single ingredient for working magic in a child or in a teen's life? Like just one thing. Well, to be honest, there is just one thing, and that's you. A regulated, grounded, open, loving, well-rested, well-fed, well-cared for, responsive, and fully present you. Ooh, that's a lot. That's asking a lot. But you know what? It isn't impossible. It takes mindfulness and intention. And I want to help you think about that and maybe begin a journey of felt safety for yourself, right? Showing up for yourself will help you regulate and show up for your child in a way that brings felt safety to them eventually. You, parent, are the most important person in a child's life, not because you feed and clothe them. Well, that matters, of course, but because you love them. We're all originally wired for attachment and love. Now, our kids from difficult beginnings came to us with some of that destroyed, right? Some of it was destroyed right out of their minds and their bodies. And so it's going to be quite a task for us to recreate it, to bring back felt safety that should have been there. It was their birthright to feel safe in their own skin. That's what the whole parent-child relationship is about, is felt safety. And when it gets destroyed and new parents come along, it turns out that becomes our job again. to make that the most important thing to help children have felt safety. So parental love, soothing, and acceptance heals more profoundly than any therapy you could ever pay for your child. I know because of all those big bad behaviors that you see, you really do a lot of seeking help, right? What therapy is going to help this? What's wrong? How can somebody come along and help you? Well, let me tell you this. What if the secret is really just in your relationship with your child? And therapy is just sort of a bonus, but not necessarily the secret ingredient. You, my friends, are the secret ingredient. Service providers, teachers, OTs, they need to be loving too and soothing and accepting to be healers for your family. They need to practice being with, and you have to practice being with your child. So here's the rub. There's more to being safely present than just being in the room, right? Are you up for the task? Have you been thinking about this already? Is this already part of your regular routine? Have you done your personal, emotional, or trauma work? Have you learned regulation skills for yourself? Have you aligned your beliefs and your perceptions with your words, advice, and actions? Are you aligned with your parenting interventions? Are your parenting interventions aligned with creating felt safety? These are all super important questions, but let's give you a head start. What do you think about parent-child relationships? Well, maybe you haven't really thought about it, but most of us have some idea of parent-child relationships. Now, often we got them from how we were parented, but there are lots of messages in our cultures, right, about the role of parents and children in their relationship. So, for example, I have heard things and even thought things like a child should do what they're told. A child should listen to their parents. A child should obey instantly or immediately. And parents really deserve that. Children should fear their parents so that they behave. Children should trust their parents no matter what. On the other hand, maybe parents should love their children no matter what. Parents have to discipline their child. Parents need to pay more attention. Parents are responsible for their children's behavior. Well, what do you think about all those thoughts? I'm not saying those are the truths. I'm just saying those are some things that people say. So how we think dictates how we experience our children when they say, no to us, when they refuse, or when they do something different than we want, or when they flat out just say they don't agree with you. What if they don't do it your way? And what if they say that your way is stupid? Woo! Are you kidding me? Does a child get to say that to a parent? Well, if you have children from difficult beginnings, you probably have already had some of that said to you. Lots of things get said in dysregulation. A lot of things get said from parents to children in dysregulation too. Likewise, how we think about ourselves as parents dictates how we experience parenting, and how we see misbehavior in children dictates how we respond. So all of this internal self-talk that we're having really matters. So I know that when I was raising my children in the beginning, I really thought children just needed to obey. I needed to obey when I was a child, and so did children. I didn't really think too much about children who had felt safety issues. I just wanted them to do what they were told, because that's what children are supposed to do. They're supposed to trust that I know what they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to trust me. Well, guess what? My kids didn't, and therefore they didn't do what I told them to do. And what that did was made me feel out of control and like, well, maybe I needed to punish them more. And so I did. And then they got more and more skeptical about whether or not I could be trusted. And it just went on and on from there. So I had to learn how to respect my children. I really didn't respect my children, not really. I just thought I was the adult and they were the child and they had to do what they were told. And I didn't really care what they thought. I'm just being honest here. So my question to you is, do children deserve respect? And what kind of respect? What form does that take on a day-to-day, interaction-to-interaction basis? That's your question for this week. Think about it, because it really matters. And until I see you next time, remember, your love matters. Hey parents, this is C. Get the help you need to end destructive and chaotic behavior in your home while parenting children from difficult beginnings. I know you need help, and the Love Plus parenting model actually works. I'm inviting you to work with me personally for 6 months in my virtual therapeutic parent program, and I guarantee you results or 100% of your investment back. How is that for a blue ribbon deal? I'm looking forward to working with you. See you on the inside.
Stop for a minute. Stop and breathe for a minute. Long it over your head. Try to listen instead, won't you? Think for a minute. Who you wanna be for a minute. Don't get over your head. You're like everyone else, aren't you? You could gain from being a bit nicer. Know when to talk and when to shut your mouth.
The Unmuted Love podcast is hosted by me, C. Eshelman, attachment and trauma specialist at the Attach Place in Sacramento, California. Our podcast producer is the amazing Saya Clark, and our theme song is Nicer by Houses on the Hill, licensed through Epidemic Sound. Thank you for being such loyal listeners here on Unmuted Love. I'll see you all next week.
You'll be just fine.